Hey guys, J-Man here, and we are back with the second episode of Versus, and this is going to be a segment. It's ongoing. We're going to try to do it Wednesdays, where we're going to take two movies that are equally good or are at least seen by the public as being both very good, usually the same, franchise or genre or something. And we're going to try to go ahead and figure out which one is a little bit better. At no point in time are we saying either of these movies sucks. Everyone's going to have their personal opinion, and we're going to try to do it as diplomatically as we possibly can. We are going to use my space technique, but we're going to change it around. So the way it works is that space is story, pacing, artistry, characters, and enjoyment. Normally, you get a score out of 2 for each of those categories. You get a final score out of 10. That's how I rate movies if I want to critique them. If you're just going to talk to me casually, I'm going to tell you, oh, I love this movie or I don't love it. So sometimes movies might get a lower score. They might get a 6 or a 7, but I'm really enthusiastic about them. By my space theory, a 5 out of 10 movie still means it's pretty good, because that just means the story, the pacing, the artistry, the characters, and your enjoyment of it was all just average, which means you can still watch that movie. But we're not going to be scoring it this time. We're going to be comparing it. So which story do we think is better? And then we're going to have a winner that way. So, and then you guys can let us know in the comments as we go, which one you think is better or which one you think edges out the other one. So I've got Steven with me. Hey, Steve.
Hey, J-Man.
All right. And, of course, we've got Sean here as well.
Hello.
Brennan wanted to make it because he loves these movies. He just wasn't feeling well. It's not COVID, right? Or any of this stuff. Now you gotta like, that's like an asterisk every time, right? It's like,
you gotta qualify it.
Yeah. I'm not feeling well. No, it's not COVID.
It's just gas.
It's like someone gets shot with a shotgun. It's like, yes, but do they have COVID?
Right. God forbid that happens.
Yeah.
So Greymalkin, I'm not sure if he's coming on tonight or not. I sent him a link. I haven't talked to him, so I don't know what's going on. But in any case, it doesn't matter. We're going to do this Wednesday nights, and we're probably going to do Saturday nights, though probably not this Saturday, for just the weekly updates. And I'm still doing my Wednesday X-Men stuff as well. So that's going to be the set thing now. We're going to do the tier rankings. I think we're going to stick till maybe once a month on the tier rankings, because we don't want to run out of those, and those take a long time, and people have a lot of fun with that. And I want those to be really open. I want like everyone to come in and give, I love when there's like, 8 or 9 of us, all ranking these things. It's much better than just the 3 of us. But for this kind of versus thing, really, a smaller panel is really all that you need, right? We're pretty savvy. We know the movies pretty well. We're cinephiles and all that. So, I think we're pretty good. If anyone out there does have an idea for something that they want to discuss or they want to see on Versus, and they think that they're qualified to be on the panel to discuss it, then you can let me know, and we will arrange something. Okay, so I'll give it another minute or two just to give anyone else a chance, Gray, to come on in case he is coming on. I'll just say a couple of things. I did start watching The Matrix Resurrections. I've seen the first hour, and no, I'm sorry. I've seen the first hour and 40 minutes. What am I talking about? I have less than an hour left. It's quite awful. So, it's the Force Awakens, except they didn't trash the characters. It's just the same thing. Like I can't.
He has to reawaken and all that.
Yes.
He's got to take the pill again.
Yeah. It's the pill again, reawaken, exposition, and then action scene, and then exposition. It's like, guys, this is like tired. It was tired after part 1, right? Like
Yeah.
Part 1.
They made it tired because they didn't have any ideas themselves for part 2 and 3. But then you're saying like a good 20 years later, they still don't have more than 20 years. They still don't have any ideas for this franchise.
No. This might be one of the worst franchises of all time. Like, Matrix Part 1 is a legit. If Matrix Part 1 had just been that movie, we'd be talking about it today. It'd be a cult. Yes. It'd be a cult classic movie. I love sequels. Right? We're gonna talk about Alien. And look, make Aliens Part 5. Make Part 6. Make Part 7. The xenomorphs are cool. They look good. They do a lot of damage. Predator can fight them. That's cool too. You can get other guys. You can get Marines to fight them. You can do you can even do maybe some mutants, maybe some humans get mutated and get some sort of powers and fight the. You could do a lot of cool stuff. Friday the 13th. I'm loving it. Jason can come back and just kill more people. But this Matrix thing, this is like a high concept, and those really don't work. Like, it's tough to continuously do 2001: A Space Odyssey. They did 2010, they did 3000, or they did 2060, and then they did 3001 in the books. And I think those are all very good. But that's a novel where you have a lot of time to really write good ideas and stuff and get it in there. This is just like Matrix 1 told me everything I needed to know about this world. That the world is fake. He's broken out of it. He's fought back. He's got the resistance going. It's over. It's like They Live. Like, what happens after They Live? Like
Yeah, but my idea for Matrix 2, even before the movie came out, like before Matrix Reloaded came out, was that it's revealed to Neo that all of the stuff from Part 1 is actually part of the Matrix anyways. It's like when he goes into the future, that's part of the world and narrative that they watch it. It's like, you're the chosen one, and and this guy has a code name, and this guy has a code name, and what fun adventure, and it's all supposed to still lull humanity into sleep. And then they open up a new world at the very end of that movie, and it's the way the world really is under the governance of like aliens and stuff. And then Part 3 would be like dealing with that. That would have been my idea. That's way out there. But the thing is, that's what you do with the Matrix, right? You expand it and add to the world, right?
In this one, they I haven't finished it, so maybe there's more going on. Yeah. In this one, it's like at the end, I don't remember what happened at the end of Matrix 3, even though I own it.
He sacrifices himself.
Yeah,
so he didn't die.
Dragged away, and
so he doesn't die. He gets thrown into a new Matrix. The problem is that if people have been in the Matrix all of this time, like, there's a lot of this like social messaging of like, oh, this is the way the world is, and this is the way humanity is. It's like, yeah, but if humanity's been in the Matrix this entire time forever, and people have grown up, lived, and died lifetimes in the Matrix, they wouldn't have these things that you're saying they have. It's like, oh, your mundane lives and all that. It's like, yeah, but if that, it seems bad if you know the way the world is as an audience member. But if I've lived in the Matrix and died, and my grandparents lived and died, like, I wouldn't be thinking the way that they're saying I'm thinking as a human watching this movie in the world that we are right now.
The world that we are right now is supposed to be the Matrix. That was the point of Part 1, right?
Right. And that made sense in Part 1 because it was a wake-up call. You're like, oh, this world is fake.
Deja vu and Mandela effect and all that stuff are glitches in the Matrix.
Right.
Yes. So, but then in this one, they're saying, well, okay, nobody really won. It's like, it just kind of, like, Neo didn't do anything. It's like, or some people were free, but the Matrix is still going, and they've rewritten it now. It's like, yeah, but at the time of Matrix 1, it was already running forever. I don't know.
So basically what you're telling me is they're saying, even the filmmakers are like, don't bother with 2 and 3. You don't need to watch them. Because if it's just going to recycle, then the events that took place in 1, 2, and 3 didn't really matter. So
that's the first thing I wrote down, Steve. The first half an hour in, I'm like, yeah, okay, so I don't need Part 1, 2, and 3. Why did I watch those trash movies? I could just watch it because it's all fake. Well, and now I'm thinking, why do I need to watch this movie? Because the next movie is going to undo this one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's your problem when you keep going back and saying, oh, you don't need, unless it's Toxic Avenger, where they literally said in Part 4, just to be funny, they're like, oh, 2 and 3 are crap, ignore those. This is the real sequel.
Yeah. In the early 2000s, like, Matrix was touted as the next Star Wars. And I remember back then being like, well, I was like, you know what? Let's see. Because Part 1 was good. And I was like, 2 and 3 will decide it, and 2 and 3 shat the bed hard. Like hard. And I was like, wow, you didn't, like, you had characters, but you didn't make them endearing, you didn't make them stand out. It's like, what am I looking at for most of this? So yeah, it's part 2. I defy anyone to tell me what part 2 is about. Like, what is it about? What is this movie about? I can tell you what, there's a lot going on in Return of the Jedi, but I could tell you what that movie's about. What's Matrix Reloaded about?
I bought a book off Sean, and it was called like Film Classics or something, and the Matrix trilogy was part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they dissect all 3 movies, and it makes all 3 movies sound absolutely deep and awesome and profound. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, now I'll rewatch these movies with this viewpoint. I rewatch them like, no, still one is good and 2 and 3 are garbage.
I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. I think what that book was trying to say was like they took a lot from mythology and the Bible.
Yeah.
But all it was is just pigeonholing. Like, this is Jesus, this is this person, this is Mary.
Right.
It's like, yeah, okay, so this is Jesus, this is Mary, and this is the other guy. What does it mean though? Like, what are you saying then? Nothing. You're just like using stuff, and you're not really saying anything about anything. You know?
Yeah. I agree.
That is what it is. Okay.
Enough with browbeating Matrix. Let's get to a real franchise.
It's a real franchise. Hey, Geek Studios. Hey, Belle. How's it going? All right. So let's get into Alien versus Aliens. Real quick, I'm gonna give just my we're gonna do our intro of like Aliens and how we kind of came to Aliens or whatever. So Sean, we can start with you this time. Just like how did you discover Alien and Aliens? And
okay. I don't know. Alien's been around like as long as we've been around. So, like I saw Alien on TV. I don't think I've ever seen Alien or Aliens in a theater. But so like, I mean, the television version of Alien and the mystique of all that. I never knew it as an adult, like a R-rated movie. It's one of those things that, like, when you have one TV in the household, everyone watches the same thing. So, like the chest bursting thing and all that, just like par for the course for me. Aliens came out like 7 years later or something, and that was more our speed. It was more of an 80s action, like all this macho bullshit, like shit talking and stuff. A lot of the shit talk insults were tamed down. I didn't realize like how bad it was until how shit talk it was until I saw a VHS version of it. But that for years was my favorite because of that big action packed one. And of course, like Alien 3 came out and I saw it in the theater and I liked it, I think, for one day and then I didn't. I've seen it recently and it's pretty awesome. But and of course Alien Resurrection and all that stuff. The toys came and went. I didn't discover till years later that the toys were meant for a cartoon that never came out. But all of they made all the Colonial Marines and stuff, but in the Kenner sort of colorful for kids style. And they were awesome. Everyone was there. A pony, everyone was there. And they made all the I remember after part 3 they made a whole ton, like crap ton of Alien figures, some of which I had. There's like the bull alien. They made this whole because they merged with a dog in part 3, so they said, oh, they can merge with animals, good. And then they made like a scorpion one. They made like all sorts of ones. Those Kenner toys are great. I don't think people really have discovered them yet. But it's cool that we got that and the Alien versus Predator stuff. And the Alien versus Predator comic issue 1, I remember buying that off the rack at Games a Lot at Scrubtown Center, and I was so intrigued by that. Alien has been a long-lived, enduring franchise that like a durable one that's really like gone through so many different iterations. I'm happy to see that because it's the type of thing that you wouldn't really sequelize. It's just a bunch of like monster animals that kill people and stuff. But most of my childhood Alien is television Alien, and then I got to go to the theaters for like Alien 3 and all that stuff. So yeah, no.
I don't think I saw Alien 3 in the theater. I saw Resurrection twice. But
I remember it was like at the end of the summer, and I was like, well, let me see this. And I remember that the critic reviews were really bad for it. But I was like, how bad can it be? I mean, it's Alien, right? So
Right.
yeah.
All right, Steve. What about you?
Well, I saw Aliens first, and that was off of my dad rented it from the local movie store, and we sat down and watched it. And I didn't see Alien at that point, and strangely enough, I didn't feel like I needed to. Like, it's funny how Aliens, you can sort of almost just pick it right up and just like, get into that world.
That's a James Cameron thing.
Yeah.
That's his big thing.
The film was great. I loved the film, but I didn't go and see. I remember asking my dad about the first one. He's like, "Oh, it's nothing like the second one. It's very, dry and all that." I'm like, "All right." And the first one, like, J-Man, you may have conceivably shown it to me. I can't remember when I saw Alien. I don't know if I sat down with my dad and watched it, if I just watched it on my own for some reason, or if you showed it to me. I know for a fact you showed me Alien 3 because that was the Max R challenge that we know about. And Resurrections, I didn't watch. I wanted to go to see that, but I didn't go see it in the theater for some whatever reason. So conceivably, my first Alien movie in the theater was AVP, if you count that as an Alien movie. If not, Prometheus. If you don't count that as an Alien movie, Alien Covenant. Alien, when I was younger, Aliens was the bomb. Alien was an afterthought. It was a slow burn, very, drawn out movie, especially at the beginning. I like it a lot more now, but at the time it was Aliens for me, and the other was an afterthought. Alien 3, didn't go see it in the theater. Didn't want to. Heard Ripley died at the end. Wasn't interested in that. Didn't go see it.
Yeah, I think I'm similar to that in the sense that I saw Aliens, and I think everyone saw that right away. That was the first one I saw. I never saw Alien Part 1. And then I think I kind of saw Alien Part 1 at some point. I thought, this is kind of boring and I don't care. And then I saw Alien 3. I'm like, oh, this was cool, but I don't know about this one either. I owned all of them on VHS. And then Alien Resurrection, I loved. I saw that twice in the theater. So for me, it was like the Star Trek thing where like 2 and 4, are like the better, the better ones. So, and then I got the Alien Quadrilogy Mega Pack.
Yeah.
Where it was like you literally had to unfold the DVD. Yeah. It was like this long. And I'm like, and then I watched Alien 1 and I thought, oh my God, this is like the greatest movie ever. And then I was like, wow. Because Aliens, I'd watched so many times. I just remembered something. I want to make it clear that we're talking about the regular versions of this. I do not like Aliens Director's Cut at all. It's way too long. It takes too long to get going.
Yeah,
there is that part where they set up those remote guns or whatever. That's kind of neat, but I don't like it. Theatrical versus director's cut of Alien Part 1. They're both good. I'm just going to take the theatrical one because that is the one that I've seen the most, I guess, and that's the one that I would go to if I was showing someone Alien. I just want to make that clear. But yeah, I do have some of the toys. I had an Alien, and you would squish the back of his head, and it was like a suction cup.
Oh,
and then it would shoot out the little mouth or whatever. So I had that, and I still have to this day. There's a little baby alien that comes with the toy. I still have it.
Oh yeah, wow.
The big alien toy is gone, but there's like a little baby one. It doesn't do anything. I literally have it like in my bathroom, like in my little cup. I have like a little alien there. I don't know why. I'm wearing my Nostromo shirt today.
Yep.
And I love Alien Isolation. I bought that game. I haven't really played through it yet. But Rob Ager, the guy who does those really cool movie analysis videos, he's done like a whole thing on it. So it's great. So, okay. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Now I have a clear favorite, like out of these two movies, but I think they're both awesome. So we're gonna try to be as fair as we can. So for the storyline for Alien versus Aliens, I'll start. I'm gonna say the storyline is like way better in Alien. And there's not really much of a story in either movie in the sense of like what a story is or whatever. But the thing with Alien is that the mystery of the space jockey is super intriguing. Finding these weird eggs is super cool. And the idea that the alien looks different every time. So someone sat there and really thought this through. They're like, okay, it's going to be this egg thing. And then it opens up and it hatches. Okay, that's very obvious. And it's like this weird insectoid spidery thingy. Okay. But then someone thought, well, how's that going to work? Like it's going to wrap around and it's got the things to hold on tight. It lays an egg in you. And then you're like, oh, it's dead. I guess, okay, what the hell was that? But they didn't know something got laid in. And then the chest bursting scene, which is super mega iconic. That's crazy. But then it's this other creature. You're like, oh, it's this weird little thing. And then later it's big. So it goes through a lot of cool transformations. And that's just, it's part one. That's the beauty of being a part one. You have all the part two's at a disadvantage for me because that's already been established. And now then they just fast track the rest of it. It's like, okay, all the colonists got nailed and now there's just aliens everywhere. Because they're just like, let's just get to the aliens. For Aliens, the story is really just like there's the colony, and I know there's the corporation, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, and their dicks or whatever. But like, really, it's like the mercenaries are going to investigate what happened to the colony. That's pretty much, there is no story. It's just going to be a survival movie after that. So I mean, Alien to me has Alien Part One. Just I guess is the better story if I have to pick a story. It's they're both kind of non-stories, but the first one's a whodunit almost, or like a horror movie. You're like, oh, when's the next person gonna get nailed? And I think to me that's more like intriguing than like, oh, let's just go down and kick and like fight a bunch of aliens. So I'm giving the edge to Alien on like part one on that one. But what do you think, Steve? What are your positives and negatives for the story for both?
This one was tough for me when I was thinking about, but I have to give it to Alien.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because the trappings in that are more relatable and it's just more surprising. So in Alien, you have to realize that these characters are like office workers, right? Like they're basically there for a job. They're woken up about hyperspace and they're like, what the hell, right? And, oh, well, we have to investigate this thing. The scene where John Hurt's chest just gets ripped open. I mean, who would have thought that would happen? Like, no one could see it. Obviously, with the face crawler attaching itself to his face, something bad's going to happen, but you're not sure what. So that's out of nowhere. I think it's super smart to kill off the captain halfway through the movie because it's totally unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it coming, and you're sort of left saying, "What now?" I think it's just a tighter movie where Aliens, for the first part of the movie, when I've watched that movie several times, I'm just like, so is James Cameron trying to say that the military are just a bunch of half-wits? Like, I don't understand. Like,
right.
they're just like good old boys who just get their asses kicked, and I'm like, okay. It doesn't surprise you. Like, the Queen Alien shows up behind Newt. Not, they kidnaps her, but nothing happens. It doesn't seem to have the balls that the first movie has.
Yeah, Newt was never gonna die.
Yeah,
right? That's like 100%, right?
Yeah, like Hicks isn't gonna die. Ripley's not going to die. It felt like the stakes were much higher in the first film and that anything could happen. I think having Ripley as the final member of the crew is super out of nowhere. You wouldn't have expected it. And it's just more of a daring film. Aliens was just trying to not deconstruct the first film, but in a way sort of say, well, how would it continue? It's more of a generic crowd pleaser than the first film was. So I have to give it to Alien.
Okay. All right, Sean, what do you think?
For story? Yeah. I would go with Alien because Aliens has a lot going on, and as you say, there isn't much of a story, I guess, for either, but it's not as tight. Like Alien is about one thing and one thing only. It's like they bring this alien aboard and it starts picking people off, and they have to figure out, what to do about this. And that's it. There isn't like there's also a nuclear explosion about to happen, and
Right.
and there's this girl, and there's like all sorts of other stupid crap going on. Alien is tight. Also, it's really designed just to set up all that stuff, and it unpacks each surprise fairly expertly. There's always something going on. Like I think to most people, Alien would look old hat because they know the rules of the aliens, right?
Right.
But when a story is telling you this for the first time, it's fairly effective. It's like each 20 minutes they show a new thing about the alien that you probably already know. It's like they bleed acid, and this is how they hatch eggs, and stuff like that. But telling that story, it's fairly tight. It's shorter than Aliens, and I think for a reason they use a lot of economy of story to that movie. So I give the edge to Alien. I'm not saying Aliens is crap, but I'm just saying Alien is tighter.
Yeah, so we'll just say this again. Like, look, both movies are awesome.
Yeah.
And I think, that was my big thing when because I saw Aliens first. Hey, Arkham. I saw Aliens first, then I saw Alien. I thought, oh. But the thing is that, see, I wasn't really thinking in terms of like, imagine seeing this for the first time. It's pretty scary, right? Mm-hmm. And I'd love to see Alien in the theater, part one. Like, if I had to pick one to see in the theater, that would be the one. Just like just because. To me, it's like so good, and I just want to see. I'd love to see it. I don't want to give away too much. It's obviously Alien is like my movie, but trying to keep it like somewhat objective. So the storyline, it's just better. Like everything is just done so well. And I think people just forget. They're too used to the alien. They're like, let's get to the xenomorph. And we don't see him enough. It's like, I know, but this is the movie that they were making at the time. James Cameron, took it. And there's only actually 6 aliens, I think is what it is. In Aliens.
Oh, yeah?
There's only 6. But he's made it like, like you always see 6 on a screen at a time, but the feel of it is like, well, look over there. And there's a bunch and over there. Oh, so it's, and I felt that the alien was more threatening too in
Well,
I agree, because it's a limited amount of people who are completely unarmed. Like they don't really have anything at their disposal to fight this thing. They don't know what they're fighting. In Aliens, they're showing up with like weapons and stuff. They have like grenades and all that. I think the other thing too I'd like to mention is the Paul Reiser character is very much like it's a derivative of the first film where, the corporation cares more about the alien. Like we've been over that, right? Like, we didn't really need to see that. And instead of an android, it's a human being, but it doesn't matter. And I think it's telegraphed. I think very early on, even though he acts like a nice guy, that the Paul Reiser character is probably a sleazebag.
Yeah, what's his Act 2 twist? Gee, I wonder.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to turn on.
You don't see them screwing each other over for a goddamn percentage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good lines in Aliens, though.
Yeah.
Why you put her in charge?
Yeah. Wait, was it Bill Paxton?
Yeah.
Bill's the whiniest actor.
Like, Hudson, this girl survived here with weeks on without any training. It's like, well, good. What did he say? He's like, well, good for her. Put her in charge. It's like, why don't you put her in charge? That was awesome.
No one did the whining bit like Bill Paxton, man.
Yeah, no one does whining like him, man.
No, great. We're gonna get to the character section. Okay. Pacing. Well, let's stay with Sean, then we'll go backwards. So pacing.
So I think like for pacing, this isn't what's the quickest pace. It's like what's the best paced.
Yes.
And to me, I say that because I'm going to give the edge to Alien. Here's the thing, like Alien uses the pace as part of the storyline. It builds up the pacing for the anxiety and the suspense of like what's going to happen next. They've already thrown at you stuff that you at the time you've never seen before. And it's deliberately paced,
Yes.
and it's consistently so. And it's like them trying to find the alien, and they find the cat, and the cat freaks them out, right? Like stuff like that, right? And it's the shorter of the two movies. Aliens is well paced. My only thing about Aliens is that it can end like about 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And it's cool. It's a cool movie. Like we all grew up with it. It's awesome. But I mean, even with Ripley trying to save Newt, it's like, and that's a whole half hour there
Right.
of just formulaic horror stuff. She's gonna find Newt, as you say,
Right.
J-Man, and she's gonna have a final showdown with the Queen, and you know that when you think the Queen's dead, it's gonna come back. It's like all of this. You've seen every Freddy and Jason movies. It's like you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, like, yeah, it just feels like there's too much of like too many of these scenes where they're sitting around trying to figure things out. It's like I get it, and it's cool to have those, and sometimes he makes some good points in those scenes, but it gets to be sort of like recycle, wash, rinse, repeat. If I were to be super critical and analyze both movies, I'd say that I give the pace to Alien as just part of the story, really, and well done.
All right, Steve.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Sean was saying, so I would give it to Alien. It seems Alien is paced for the story, while Aliens is paced for the genre.
Right.
What I mean by that is that Alien, it starts out and it's supposed to be very slow because this is their lives. You're basically seeing their lives, and it's an exploratory movie at the beginning. So they're figuring out, what is this planet? What's this space jockey? What's these eggs? What is all this? It's like, you're exploring. So it's a little bit of a slower pace. And then you get to that midpoint, which is the chest bursting scene. And after that, the movie's absolutely relentless. There's guys getting picked off. There's fighting. What should we do? There's all this stuff, and it's tension, and it doesn't let up. It literally doesn't let up. Even when you think you're okay at the end, she's in the escape pod, the alien's in there with her. Yeah. So it's always like tense. What's the alien doing? What's it look like now? It's relentless. Aliens starts out, and you would think that it is the better paced movie because there's more action, but it's very much a very stereotypical action movie where it's intense action scene, then beats to cool down the audience, then intense action scene, then beats to cool down the audience, then beats to cool down the audience. Like it's very much built as an action movie as opposed to thinking about the aliens and how we should tell the story best, right? So to me, Alien, like, there's dead parts in Aliens. There's dead parts, like Sean mentioned, where they're sitting around talking and figuring out, and I'm like, okay, I swear Bishop, like Lance Hendrickson's character, is like fixing the array and something for like 40 minutes or something. I'm like, what's he doing out there? Like, hasn't he fixed his thing yet? Yeah. Like, I know it's bad weather and that, but it seems like he's out there for half the picture just trying to fix whatever.
It's even worse than the director's cut.
I don't like the director's cut.
He's in that tunnel forever, man.
Yeah, he's in the tunnel forever.
Not at all.
Yeah,
but like it just there's dead parts to it. So I there's no dead parts to me of Alien. Like, everything is purposeful. Everything is meant to set up something or to pay off something. Right. Aliens is made like an action movie. You can literally almost see the studio notes saying, we need an action beat here. We need an action beat here. So,
yeah, I agree with all you guys. Like, I wasn't sure what you guys are going to think about Alien. I agree with the points that you're saying. It's like, look, it's like there's always something new going on in Alien, which makes it interesting. It might seem slower, but it is shorter. It's slow in the terms of like how it's being shot, but it's more engaging because there's always a mystery coming on. Like first there's the cool space shots and the ship looks awesome in the interior, which we'll get to in the artistry part. But it's like, okay, they're woken up. They're like, why did mother wake us? I don't know. All right. And you're like, okay, so they go down to investigate. Now that's slow, but we need to see what they're investigating. I like to see, like, it's a science fiction picture. They're trying to show me this space jockey. It's like, oh, this looks cool. It's like, what kind of person was this? It's like Star Trek. It's like they beam down to the surface. They're investigating. What is this thing? I don't know. Like, well, look, it's like something's happened to it. Oh, I don't know. Oh, look, there's eggs here. What are these eggs? Right? Like, so to me, it's interesting. Like, I'm like, oh, what's going on there? Hey, Truth. There's something interesting going on in the beginning of Alien. Once the face hugger impregnates Kane or whatever, he's taken back there like, oh shit, right? We gotta get this thing off. And that's cool too. And then they get it off, and then he's good for a while. And then you're like, okay, well, where's this movie going? And then boom, the chest bursts. You're like, oh shit. So every time the movie starts to be like, okay, what's happening here? Is there, boom, something happens. And that's good pacing for me because that's how mysteries and horror. It's a horror movie. It's a mystery horror movie, sort of. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's well paced. Aliens. There are some parts in Aliens where you're just like, man, like, what is happening here? Let's get this sucker on the, because there's no mystery in Aliens. The mystery is gone. So now that the mystery is gone, you're left with action. The suspense is kind of gone too, because look, Sigourney Weaver is not going to die in this movie. Newt is not going to die in this movie, or Sigourney Weaver will die to save Newt. That's the only possibilities, right?
Yeah.
And then the way that they offset that, and we'll get to the artistry or maybe character, depending on what you think, they have the Queen, which is an extra bonus that we didn't have in the other one to make up for the fact that there's no mystery and there's nothing new being revealed in this movie. And I think because nothing new is being revealed, that hurts the pacing. Like my wife, she likes Prometheus and Alien Part 1, and that is it. Because the mystery and the exploration is gone in all of the other ones. Like, she thought Aliens was boring. She's like, I don't care about this fighting. I don't care about the Marines shooting at these creatures. I don't care about that. And then Part 3, it's like Part 3, there's a lot of just meandering around and all that. It looks cool in that prison colony, but it's like, and she doesn't care about Ripley. And then the next one after that, she thought that was like somewhat okay, but again, they had the new thing of the hybrid alien. And then Prometheus, she loved it. I saw Prometheus 3 times in IMAX because I like the mystery. I like exploring. I like all that weird stuff. Plus, there's a lot of good creature effect. Prometheus is like the best creature movie of all time. It has like so many gross creature elements in it. Okay. Yeah. So for me, the pacing wins in Alien for sure. I'll start off with the artistry then. We'll just go back the other way. I'm giving it to Alien, man, because look, I think it's a masterpiece. I literally would pause when I was designing an escape room. I wanted to design an alien ship. I was literally pausing it and drawing out the backgrounds to build those walls. I think the lighting is genius. I think the music is genius. Everything looks fantastic. It holds up well. I think it's like a masterful art piece to me. It looks amazing. I love the costumes. I bought all the toys for it. I don't know. It looks authentic to me. I love the ship, the Nostromo. I like that it looks like it's a ship that functions in the real world. If you were going to make a ship, it's literally carrying like that equipment. It's literally like carrying equipment basically and mining shit, right? So it looks like
minerals.
Yeah. It literally looks like that is the function. It doesn't look cool. Like, look, everyone knows Millennium Falcon looks cool and TIE Fighters look neat, whatever, right? This is not like neat. This is just like, look, this is a ship that functions. And to me, that is neat. Like, that gets me more excited than some of these other ships where you're like, oh, that looks cool. It's like, yeah, it looks cool, but I like the practicality of this. I love that it's junky. As you said, Steve, it's like, look, these guys are workers, right? They're not starship captains and, fixing their collars up. They get up, they have their coffee. Yeah, pass some coffee. The guy's got friggin', I can't remember. It was Yaphet Kotto
Yeah, he's like, it's the only good thing on this ship.
Yes, it's like we'll get to the characters next, but like, you know, and that's great. Like, it just looks to me awesome. The music is great. The alien effects are awesome. The alien itself looks good. I just watched it not too long ago. It still looks good today. Aliens is really well lit, and I like the blue kind of tint, but green's my favorite color, so I prefer green. But the Queen looks pretty damn spectacular in Aliens, and when she like rips Bishop apart, like that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
and like the coolness of the loader fighting, like that's pretty awesome. And they foreshadowed that, but who cares? It's like
They set it up.
They set it up, right?
Yeah.
That was all, and I've got that in the packaging there. The one Aliens toy that I bought from Reaction was the loader versus.
Oh, the loader, you could put her in.
Yeah, she's in the loader. Yeah.
That was a missed opportunity with 3 3/4 inch. They should have done.
I mean, like that,
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Aliens. That is awesome. Plus the guns. So
They
because
got
there's a
one
lot
of
of
those steady
equipment,
cam things, and they're like,
yeah, because of the equipment, that has to play a factor in the because it's still part of the production and the art.
right.
So like the equipment and stuff in Aliens is wicked. Like I like all the different guns. I like the way that the Marines look. They look like they're real Marines and they're not just, oh, we just, you know, have a bunch of guys or whatever. It's like they look like each person has sort of decorated their own
It's
their
G.I.
own
Joe.
armor. It's G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
right? It's G.I. Joe.
Each one's
But no,
unique.
but that's okay because if that's a real thing, like if you look at actual Marines and stuff, like they don't all just have the same helmets. Like they'll write stuff on their helmet or they'll put like stickers or something or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So they really, and then Vasquez has the bandana and all that.
Yeah.
So it's like all I need to know is where they are, right? and it's like they've got that big mega gun, and when that thing goes up,
but it's strapped to like a thing they put steady cams on.
Yeah,
it's so someone saw steady cams like, why don't we put a gun on that, and then you can easily
put that shit
maneuver.
on there. So I mean that has a lot of cool. I'm just giving it to Alien because I think it's like a masterpiece. The ship, the interiors, like the chains. The alien hides in these really cool spots where it's like you're like, wait, was that the alien just now, or like I can't. When you first watched it, you wouldn't have been able to tell. Mm-hmm. But when you watch it and you're like, oh, I know he's going to get nailed here. You're like, oh, shit, is the alien in that thing? It's so cool. So, yeah, I think Alien for me. But, Steve, what do you think?
It's Alien. It's not even close, in my opinion. Like, that movie was designed meticulously to elicit response from the audience. Right. I think they said the sets were like slightly skewed, like they were slightly, like the doorways were slightly skewed. It's claustrophobic. The shots where like people are running and the steady cam is following them through the hallways and the lights are going off. Like the atmospherics in that film are like, second to none. The Alien developed by H.R. Geiger, right?
Yeah. Giger.
Like a blend of bio and technology. It's a masterpiece. It is like such a well-designed creature.
Yeah.
And to your point, Jay, man, like it can like hide anywhere. Like at the end, when in the escape pod, it looks like just a pile of equipment in a corner. Yeah. And then it sort of like moves and you're like, what the hell is that? And it's the alien. Yeah. Like it was so well designed. The chest bursting scene again was, one of a kind, hadn't been done before. The face hugger itself, like they show you the biology of it. Like they go through it. Like that's incredible. And even Ash himself, like when he starts spitting up white, you're like, this guy's not human. Right. Yeah. And there's that whole thing where they talk to his disembodied head. The space jockey looks amazing. I like the low level blue light when they're walking through the egg field, like John Hurt, you see that like laser field.
Yeah.
I think the Nostromo is created perfectly. It's a very utilitarian working class freighter. It's there to work. It's there to do industrial jobs. And like The crew looks like people you would expect working at those jobs. Like Yaphet Kotto has the bandana and that. Brett's got the hat. You know, like it's so well meticulously designed from beginning to end. Everything is purposeful. Everything has a reason. Ridley Scott is a serious filmmaker. He makes stuff to service the film or to service what he wants you to get out of the film, and his attention to detail is second to none. I'll give the guy that. I don't almost like his movies, but like I've noticed that about him. Like you look at his other movies, like Blade Runner is like such a brilliantly designed film, and this is another brilliantly designed film. That's not to take away from Aliens. Aliens has some cool designs, the guns, as you mentioned, the grenades, the car that they use. It's pretty blocky and stuff. It's very unique. The Queen Alien is incredible. The payloader fight is great. James Horner's score at the end became very famous. The fight between the two of them, like that, got used in like 100,000 like TV spots and trailers.
Yeah.
After that, it's still a really well designed movie. There's that red hue that goes on a lot. Like I remember they're in the tunnels and it's like red. Like I remember that was kind of neat. Like it's a well-made film, but like you're following up a masterpiece that the guy literally purposely did everything to like be either innovative or to be suspenseful, claustrophobic. You can't, like, I wouldn't be able to design Aliens and beat Alien, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm a great designer, but like knowing what I know, I still probably couldn't beat it. Like, no one's beating that design for Alien, and the score is awesome. Even the poster, oh, you know, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Oh, that is the damn.
That's the best. One of the best taglines in any movie.
Ever. Yeah.
Like, the design on Alien is legendary, and for good reason. So Alien has to win in artistry. Yeah.
All right, Sean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, 20 years ago, I probably would have said Aliens, but it's Alien hands down. I mean, for everything you guys have said, but the thing about Aliens is that it's piggybacking off of what was done before. So that's part of the cheat. I kind of disagree with you, J-Man. I think the lighting sometimes is really flat and doesn't really bring out the dimensions of what's happening. I think part of that was probably because of the set design as well. I'm not saying that Aliens is crap. I'm just saying that like it's a bit comic booky. Not that comic book is bad, but it's too pastel colors for the tone and mood they're trying to show. Even when they show space in Aliens, there's that blue mist.
Yeah,
it looks very inviting. It's supposed to look dark and foreboding, you know.
I know, but I think it looks neat. I like the blue.
It looks neat, but like an Alien, space is a black, inky void of death. It's because it is.
Yeah,
right?
It's supposed to be more scarier. Aliens is more like this looks neat.
Yeah, in Alien, everything looks great. Like the ship is sort of a mass of shapes. It's not a cool looking design like a Millennium Falcon. Like the Nostromo is a big mess, and it should be, right. That's the whole point. It's big and unwieldy. Everything inside, like that mother room with all the dotted red lights, is awesome, and how it's shot too. It's not just a flat shot. It's like from below, where like the head is almost at the bottom of the screen, and surrounded by this crazy like
you're
room
supposed to be in
lights,
the womb, right? That's sort of
Yeah.
you're in mother. You're
Yeah,
literally
that-
in mother's womb, right? That's literally
all of the stuff there is really lit and designed for the tone and mood that they're going for. I feel like Aliens is over designed. I mean, it's cool. Like the loader is cool. The tank thing is cool. Like it's just a block with wheels. All that stuff is awesome. It's awesome. And it's awesome when you're a kid growing up with that stuff. It's wicked, you know, and they've made toys. Leonard recently did toys based on them. And they look great. But I think like for what they were going for, Aliens looks like a big studio production, and Alien looks like an artist's vision. And I think like everything about it, like it's very beautiful, especially now, like watching on something like Disney Plus. you really see the craftsmanship of the cinematography and where the camera's placed and everything. The music is fairly it's fairly good for all of the mood they're trying to show.
Right.
My only thing with Alien is that this has irked me more and more, and maybe it's just me. I feel the guy who's playing the alien didn't know yet what it would be. It looks like a dude in a costume. I feel like the alien is more animalistic in movement, and shown a bit less in Aliens than it is in Alien. Beyond that, I think Alien beats out Aliens, not by much, but I feel just like as an artistic film with a lot of simple yet elegant and beautiful visuals, Alien beats out Aliens.
All right. Well, okay. So going into this, for me, it's like Alien is the clear winner, like for sure, because that's my 11th favorite movie. It's like I want to get into the top 10, but I just don't know what to take out. I've got an entire shelf just for Alien stuff, so I love Alien. And I thought, like, story, pacing, artistry, it's a no-brainer for me. Easily Alien. Characters, this is good. This is the really tough. This is really hard. And I believe that the characters is the action and characters are why your so-called normie audience are gonna go to Aliens and be like, you think Alien is better than Aliens? You're crazy. I think it's because it has nothing to do with the artistry of the story, because Alien still looks cool, right? But it's the characters and the action. Now, while we've been talking, I've been trying to write down character names based on the name, not the actor, just the names, to see what still, because I've seen them both equally. So I've got Kane, Ripley, Ash, Dallas, Parker, Lambert, Brett, and Jonesy's the cat, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody.
Right. Parker,
Yeah.
Ash.
Yeah.
Parker's Yaphet Koto. Brett is
Harry Dean Stanton.
Harry Dean Stanton. Lambert is
Veronica Cartwright.
Right? Yeah. Dallas is what's his face?
Tom Skerritt.
Skerritt. Ash is Ian Holm. Kane is John Hurt, and Ripley is Thingy. So that's everybody. Now for Aliens, I've got Hicks, Newt, Ripley, Bishop, Apone, Hudson, Vasquez.
Gorman.
See, I miss Gorman. Gorman. Shit. That's a big one. So, okay, so Gorman I didn't get, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was able to guess more on Alien, but it could just be that because I own those toys, I'm more used to those names.
Yeah.
But
of course, they made the Colonial Marines the toys because guns, they have muscles
and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I actually think objectively the Alien characters are better than Aliens. I'll tell you why. They're not as fun, I suppose, but that makes them better for me. I'm like a science fiction person. The only novels I read really are science fiction novels or sometimes adventure stuff. Like I'm still reading Alan Quatermain. I'm getting through it. It's like that's sort of my go-to. And Rendezvous with Rama is one of my favorite books. Dune in 2001 and all that, and anything by Philip K. Dick. And for me, it's like I like slow sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like one thing that I like about Alien Part 1 is that Ash is the android, but it's not said until it's revealed to the audience.
Right.
And I'm a sci-fi guy, and it kind of irks me where they explain things to the audience where it's like that would never come up. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't come up in Alien because it's just regular stuff. Like I don't sit here and say, by the way, guys, I'm drinking out of a plastic water bottle. Like I wouldn't say that because it's just normal, right? Mm-hmm. And the only reason it comes up in the second film is that Ripley doesn't trust androids because of Ash. So when Bishop does his little knife thing, they did that in a cool way to make it not like, hi, hi audience, he is an android. Oh my god, you know.
Hmm.
But I just like the fact that it wasn't a big deal. Like it's just like, yeah,
Well,
he's an android, and
But it telegraphs exactly he'll have a redemption arc, which he does.
Yeah,
So like
it
it's
does
like,
do
well,
that.
they're not going to do the same thing again. So he's just going
Right.
to come back as a good guy.
yeah. So that's a story element where they played on the idea that we know that the last android was death or was an ass. So
Yeah,
this
it's
guy will be
implied
good.
in the first one, I guess, through the second one that like because Paul Reiser's like, oh, we do this all the time. We always have an an android on our missions, right?
Synthetic
But
person.
back then they didn't expect that, right? And it showed that the corporation like Mother or whatever inserted like this secret android to do its bidding, right?
Right.
And that was even more lascivious. That was more sneaky, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I forgot that. Like rewatching again, it's like, oh yeah, they didn't know he was a android because
yeah, it's not
I'm so used
said.
to Aliens where they know he's an android the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't know.
He's
It's
got
like-
like
and-
Christmas tree lights inside him and stuff.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but I think the point more is that we don't know, and it's
Right.
not
Yeah.
said to the audience, and that makes it kind of like, oh shit, like what the hell? Like when that head gets knocked off, you're like, what the hell just happened here?
It's so
Like,
cool too. Like for back then, it looks great.
And the thing is that the movie is subtle. Like when he does the running in spot, which the only Mandela effect I ever had was I thought Fassbender did it in Prometheus. I actually asked J-Man if that happened, and I rewound it, and then I looked for a deleted scene because I swore I saw Fassbender do the run in place, like Holm did. Because how Holm did it, it was almost like weird. It was unearthly. Like, did he just run? Like, how did that happen? Like, it was almost like a herky-jerky weird thing he did. That sort of thing, like, that's kind of weird to me. But I'm like, well, maybe he's just like that sort of guy who did that. But I found it sort of odd. Like it was an
it's not like
unnatural movement to
Bowman
me.
running around in the in 2001: Space
In
Odyssey.
2001,
Yeah.
Well, we're can help you reach it. Well, so far, Alien is winning in the story, pacing, and artistry department. For me, it's a masterpiece, and Aliens is a very, very good film, and Alien Part 1 is a masterpiece movie. But anyway, characters. So, I mean, the problem is that, like, man, Hicks, Hudson, like, you know, even, like, Bishop is awesome. I like Newt, actually. Ripley is, like, on fire here, like, slapping together the flamethrower with the gun and putting that, like, that's kick ass. I mean, literally Ripley leveled up. We're going to be playing D&D next month, and it's like literally a level up. She's like, whoosh, like takes everything off. It's like, okay. And it was like she trained, like, you know, Hicks was training her.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, now I'm ready. It's like the full level up with like the full gear and everything. So that's kick ass. I don't know if we count the alien as a character. The Queen is, you know, pretty smart, I guess. She's smarter than
the Queen. Literally takes an elevator up to the.
Yeah,
they should make a short of the Queen taking the elevator up to the platform because it's like because Ripley's like, oh, forget and climbs up. And then the alien, like the freaking elevator door, and then the alien comes out. They should have like Muzak or something like da 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 da.
That you think that'd be a Robot Chicken episode? Like
yeah, it
must be.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, like, because the characters are like Lambert, well, Parker and Brett for sure, where they're just like, look, it's like we want our cut. Like, you know, we're why are we stopping? That's not our contract, right? Like, what if you found something that's really valuable to the company? Are we going to get reimbursed? Like, they're real people. I really felt like they were real, actual people. They had top-notch acting, and it was like, I just felt they were real. In the second one, I felt that they were cool characters, but not necessarily real. Like, I didn't really think that, you know, like, you know, is Hudson, like, that's what's his name? Put her in charge, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, it's Hudson.
Was he really? Is he a real person? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, they don't. my point was gonna be I was gonna go with
Yeah,
Alien
okay,
as
go.
well. My point was
Okay,
gonna
so
be like they don't serve the story the way the characters serve the story in Alien, because
right,
in Alien they're supposed to be average people, and they
right,
set all that up in the beginning with all their great conversation and stuff around that table and everything, and like I wouldn't get paid and all that stuff, and it's like complaining about the food, you know. You really relate to them. I mean, like if you want to put it in those terms, you really relate to them in terms of like their needs and wants and who they are, and which makes what happens later all the more terrifying, because it's happening
right,
to people who have the same wants, likes, and dislikes you do. It's like, you know, they want to get paid, and they're
right,
not super soldiers or anything. They're just workers. Whereas
right.
in
Yeah.
the Colonial Marines and Aliens are like GI Joe characters, right?
Right.
And they're, you know, not that I'm saying anything against GI Joe, but it's like when they get destroyed or when they get like you know, attacked by the aliens, I'm not as horrified by it, because that's what they do, you know.
Mm.
They're just being pushed into these battlefields and stuff. There is some good character work done with them. Like I like when I think it's Bill Paxton and Vasquez like blow up in that shaft, right?
No, it's the bald guy, I
Who's the
think.
bald guy?
I don't remember his name.
That
That's
was
the
Gorman.
thing.
That
That's
was
Gorman, yeah.
Oh,
the
that's
leader
Gorman,
of the platoon.
What's
Yeah,
Paul
it's like
Reiser's character?
Who? Paul Reiser? He's starts with a B, like
Boone?
Benton or something like that. Let me just.
yeah.
Because there's
You know
him
what?
in it.
Could not be reachful. Let us know.
Yeah,
Gorman is who though?
Gorman is the bald guy. Gorman is the leader of the platoon. He gets injured.
Oh, but that's a different guy than the guy that Vasquez dies with.
No, it's the same guy.
Yeah, sorry, that's that guy. Yeah, sorry.
Because she says you always were an asshole, Gorman,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah, that's
he's
right.
holding
But
the bomb.
anyway, I feel like the characters in Alien. I mean, look, the characters in Aliens are archetype enough to be memorable. Like we all know their names and stuff. And as you were saying, J-Man, those were the characters that were like marketed like in the comics,
Right.
in the cartoon that never was, but in
Right.
in the action figures and stuff. So we probably know them more through that. But I just feel the alien characters are there more to serve the purpose of the story, and they do a better job. So I would give it to Alien. Burke.
Burke, yes, that's
I know
right.
it started with a B.
Yeah, she's like, it's Burke.
Yeah,
When she's like recovering from the big choke or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
all right.
Paul Reiser.
Oh, Paul.
You little scamp.
You know, that's very mean of him.
Very pesky. It was between him and Jason Alexander. He talked about this in an interview. And he would have been a good Burke, you know?
Yeah.
He looks Burkish. Yeah.
They're screwing each other over for a goddamn percentage. I always like that line. And then, yeah, like Hicks and Hudson and all those guys, there were so many good lines on Hicks in charge. It's like, well, I'm sorry, it looks like Hicks is in charge. It's like, I say we go up, nuke it from space. That's the only way to be sure.
Orbit, yeah.
From orbit, yeah. That's the only way to be sure. So he repeats what Ripley says.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, what do you think for the characters? This is I know we're making it sound pretty easy. It is tough because the Marines are very cool and they're memorable, but I just like the realness.
Mistaken for a man? No, have you?
So many good lines, right? All right, Steve.
I agree. Alien, the characters are better drawn. They're more realistic. Yaphet Kotto and Harry Dean Stanton are those guys in the office who bitch about the pay and like, hey, we should get paid more. Lambert, Veronica Cartwright is sort of the mousy.
Yeah.
Oh man. She's the mousy. She's the one who's terrified of everything. She gets hysterical very easily. Tom Skerritt is sort of the harried commander, and Ripley is sort of the one who should be in command, but maybe she's not because she's a woman. I don't know. You can do the subtext there. I agree that they're well drawn and they serve the story. I am going to give the character edge to Aliens just because they are more memorable. They have really like penetrated the pop culture. In Mortal Kombat 10, Johnny Cage goes up to the alien who's in the game. And he's like, "Game over, man." That's right from Hudson, man. Like Hudson, like Bill Paxton was, he left us too soon. Like his performance as Hudson, because he's this big, tough guy, and as soon as he sees the aliens and everything goes to shit, he loses it. And he doesn't lose it initially. He loses it for a great period of time. And everything he says, like he's Lambert. He's hysterical through the entire movie. The alien characters are a little bit more nondescript. They're meant to be that way, so that's not a slam. But I will remember the aliens characters before I remember the alien characters, like what they've said, what they've done. Hicks, Michael Biehn is a rock. If he's not there, things go straight to hell for Ripley, because she's with, Hudson, who's like losing his shit.
Right.
Burke, who's a weasel. Newt, who's a kid. Bishop's outside and he's an android. What's he going to do? Like Hicks, and Michael Biehn plays him so well, like the cool character under fire. You're like, God help us if something happens to Hicks. This thing's going to go straight to hell. Ripley is, as you said, J-Man, is on fire. She's very resourceful. She's now savvy. She's now a veteran of this thing. She didn't know what to expect in Alien.
What are we even talking about this for?
Yeah, why are we even talking about this, man? They're caricatures. I completely agree. They're over the top. I completely agree. But they're so memorable. I can't, I remember even Vasquez, she's in the air ducts, and she's like, she's got the grenade, and like I said, she's like, "Gorman, you were always an asshole." And then she just pops it. Newt, when I saw her in it, I'm like, "Oh God, here we go, an annoying little girl." She's cool. She's resourceful, and Ripley even calls out, this little girl survived X number of time, when Hudson's losing his shit. She's like, she survived. You're a big tough Marine. What's your problem?
Weapons.
It's close up on his face when he says that too. Yeah. You're in charge, man. Yeah.
It's so good, man.
That would have been a what if. It's what if you was in charge?
It was in charge.
Well, let's go all hang out in the trash like me.
I even like Bishop. He doesn't have a lot to do. But the fact that he's trying to redeem the androids, to Ripley, and he succeeds.
Synthetic person. He prefers synthetic person.
Synthetic person.
I prefer synthetic person.
So, I don't know. I completely agree with your guys' point. But Aliens, the characters are just too damn memorable for me not to give them the edge.
Hey, Joe. So Hudson's line, game over, man. It was not in the script. That's cool.
So Bill Paxton
ad-libbed that one.
Ad-libbed that one.
Yeah.
That guy knew what he was doing.
I'd say one thing about Alien, much has been made of the fact that they didn't tell the actors what was going to happen in a chest bursting shoot. And that was her name, Veronica Cartwright? Who played,
Veronica Cartwright.
She was got good in that. And when you watch that, everyone else is sort of like, what? But she's like, ooh, and I think her sound bite was like, oh my God, when you see the thing come out,
that's real,
her genuine thing. But I was watching it going, oh God, they got her good, man.
Because they didn't know that it was going to squirt. And even the guys doing it didn't know that it was going to fire that badly. It's like, she's like, yeah. This was beyond film. This wasn't movie. This was just she's like, holy shit, what the hell have I signed up for in this movie?
She was, and the great thing is that it got her and she had splattered her, and she's like, oh, and then it went right to the alien popping up, and it got her soundbite, which was
oh my God.
Oh my God.
That was awesome, man.
Yeah.
They even made a figure of that with Kane.
Let's briefly mention Spaceballs. That's made me laugh for a half hour, man.
Hello, my baby.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. That's great, man.
It's he's like, I'll have the cleavage. I mean, the special. And it's like, it's like
not again.
Yeah. My gosh.
Yeah, and the guy's like, what did he have? The special? It's like, the special. It's like, and I think that was John Hurt, right? In Spaceballs.
It was John Hurt, yeah.
I saw Spaceballs in the theater.
Yeah, me too.
And I used to watch it all the time as a kid, but I haven't watched it in about 15 years.
Oh,
and I still remember all of those like lines and all that. Like,
I'm a dog, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. Yeah.
Oh man, John Candy's awesome. Uncle Buck was on TV last night. And I just watched it off TV for Christ's sake, so the commercials and all. Like,
the pancakes are like ridiculous. Like when like
it's like he's using the snow shovel.
Yeah, he's got the snow shovel. I love when he's telling off the principal too. Here's a quarter. Go get a rat to go gnaw that thing off your face.
But the whole movie's good too, where it's like he's like, talking to the boyfriend and stuff. He's like, I've got a hatchet. And he's like, look, here it is. He's come see it.
He's like, man. Yeah, bug. He's like, has anyone seen a bug here? He's like, I'm looking for bug. He's like going through all of his students.
Oh, that's pretty
nice.
Good. So I didn't see. The first one I saw was Resurrection. That's where.
Oh yeah.
From Resurrection, I didn't miss any Alien or Predator movie. Predator, I think it was the third one I saw, and I didn't miss anything from that point and on for Predator. Like AVP, all that counts. So I'll definitely go watch any of those in the theater no matter what. We could do Predator 1 versus Predator 2. I really love Predator 2 a lot. I've got the poster, the theatrical poster for that. It's like perfect condition. I never put it up. It's the one where it's like it says he's coming to town with a few days to kill or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, maybe we'll do that one. Pizza. Yeah, Pizza the Hut or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a little bit of time just to talk about because now look, Alien is the clear winner. Even with Steve's edge to the characters, it's still not enough for it to win in all the other categories. Enjoyment for me is Alien Part 1 anyway, but we can talk about just kind of all the cool stuff for Alien 1 and Alien 2 and maybe some of just the negative points for the enjoyment. And then you could say kind of, which one you do enjoy more, because again, just because I'm saying, the story was better, the pacing was better, the artistry was better, Steve is saying the characters was better, that doesn't mean that the enjoyment, you can still enjoy Aliens more, because I know a lot of people that do. Just a lot of people are like, you know what, I agree, Alien 1 technical wise, story wise, it's better film, quote unquote, but you know what, man, I'm bored, I'm gonna pop in Aliens and watch that, right? Now when I'm bored, I actually will pop in Alien and watch Alien. So I still give the enjoyment to that, and I really don't. I think Alien 1 and 2, it's like I watch those and then I kind of don't really watch the others. Every so often I'll throw in Part 3 just to remind myself, what happened in that one, and Part 4, what happened in this one. It's like, for me, it's Prometheus, Alien, Aliens, and then that's your movies. AVP, I haven't watched those. I haven't watched AVP since we saw it in theater.
Yeah. And that's a shame, because, and I think that's the overarching shame of those two movies, because it's it's Alien versus Predator. That should be something that we pop in all the time to watch for enjoyment. And they're so disappointing that I can't bring two of them, and I can't bring myself to watch them again,
Alien Covenant, I haven't seen that since I'm going to watch that again, but I remember thinking there was a lot of dumbassery stuff going on in that. I didn't like it. Yeah. That was not Ridley Scott. I don't know what happened in that. I love Prometheus. Yeah. Maybe too much. It might be,
But I think that Ridley Scott didn't understand Prometheus, and he made it, because all the reasons why I like that movie, I saw him in it. Actually, I read an interview with him where he said, "Oh, none of that is my intention." It's like, well, you know what? Do you understand this movie? Because I sure do. I don't know what your problem is here. And Part 5 show that he didn't understand Prometheus, because Prometheus, I don't know, like it's not supposed to be a prequel because they show an alien on a mural, and in Alien 5 was a Covenant. Then it is a prequel. I don't know what's going on anymore. It's a mess at that.
Yeah, alien. Yeah, because like Prometheus, the engineer becomes an alien pretty much, doesn't he?
There's a giant like face hugger at the end of.
That's sort of the whole point. Yeah, and it impregnates an engineer.
Right.
But they created the black venom goop or whatever, the goop that they were upset with humanity, which they helped create because they gave some of their genetic code or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, humanity's a bunch of bullshit. We're gonna put the black goop down there, and then that goop is gonna form the destructor of this planet.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically that's their plan.
Right.
The engineer's plan. But going by the space jockey who's an engineer in Alien Part 1, we know that one came out of him.
Yeah.
So something went wrong there. But we know that one impregnated the other guy. But was that supposed to be the same guy? No, I don't think so, because that guy wasn't on that planet, right?
Right.
Yeah,
so
it's a different planet. It's not the same planet.
It's a different planet.
Yeah. So there needs to be a movie in between Prometheus and that alien and that Alien Covenant was not that movie, because that had other weird things.
Very bland. I found it didn't really solve anything. I didn't really understand why it was made. Like, they had the two Michael Fassbender characters, the two androids.
Yeah, he's the same.
It's
So Joe, I agree. I think a lot of people like Aliens a lot because it's very fun.
Yeah.
Alien is scary. I love Alien. I think it's a masterpiece. For me, it wins out in every aspect to Aliens, but Aliens is still an awesome movie, and it's amazing. But yeah, no, Fassbender was the same. He's the same character, and Liz Shaw got killed right away in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
Or she's dead already. She's not.
She's not in it after she went through all this crap, and she had to use the machine on herself to get the alien out of her. Like,
that was awesome.
Prometheus is an incredible movie. It's up there with Alien and Aliens for me. The only other one I have any urge to watch occasionally is Resurrection, because again, it's just a really fun, crazy movie.
Yeah.
I have no desire to watch Alien 3. Pretty much, I think it started off in a bad way. It ended in a bad way. And the middle's okay. The AVP movies are, I don't even watch them anymore. I have no interest in them. They're just, I don't know what the hell, they're not special. And that's like, you have an alien and a predator. How you have aliens and predators? How is this not special? How is this not memorable? How did you drop the ball on this? But they did. And Covenant I haven't watched since the theater.
I'm going to rewatch it. I did buy it, so I'm going to rewatch it. Yeah, this Easter egg stuff, I'm going to have to do a stream on called I'm effing tired of this bullshit.
Yeah.
And people mistake nostalgia and fan service for this. Spider-Man 3 it's fan service in the sense that it's giving us what we want to see, but it's not banking on nostalgia, because the characters that come in to Spider-Man 3 are doing new things, and they've evolved as characters, and they're talking with each other as characters. It's not like Ghostbusters where, oh, here's Gozer, but she literally is the exact same Gozer, says the same lines of dialogue, and does nothing new.
I know, but at some point, Easter eggs used to be, before we called them that, they used to be fun things that like a fan on set or someone who was making the movie that was a fan on set would put in there. That's how we got AVP, because they had that alien skull. It's a fun thing they put in there, and it's fine. But now studio execs are in on this bullshit, and they're like, oh, it's like putting the Gorn skull in the officer's
and what captain condones murder?
It harkens back to an episode, but it makes no effing sense.
Right?
What are you doing? Yeah.
What Starfleet captain condones trophies?
Skull. Yeah.
Like, are you
Yeah.
crazy? That's not a Starfleet captain.
It's a sentient being, and you're putting a skull in it.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Makes no sense,
But
man.
no, like nostalgia and callbacks. Look, they're awesome, but that can't be your whole movie. And also, it can't be the whole ending. That was my look. Ghostbusters Afterlife. The problem is there's nothing new. It's just Gozer again. It's like I don't care. They already defeat her, and she sucks, and she's the same thing as she is, and she looks worse. As Steve pointed out, she does look worse. That's brutal.
Yeah.
It's like, why does she look worse? And they say Egon's a loser for the whole movie, and at the end they're trying to redeem him. Why does Egon need to be redeemed? But yeah, aliens like Alien Covenant and Prometheus and all that, they didn't really do anything like that bad. But they didn't really do anything that great. Like Prometheus did some cool stuff, but Alien Covenant didn't. It didn't fulfill anything that Prometheus was doing. Like this was supposed to bridge the gap between those two movies, and it didn't. And it could have easily have done it. And I just don't even know what was the point of Alien Covenant. I got to rewatch it.
You know,
maybe it's something, but
I think what it was is.
Go ahead, Steve.
Sorry. Yeah. I think what it was is, I think Ridley Scott's Prometheus was supposed to come out and be in the world of Alien, but not connected to Alien.
Yeah. Right.
I think it was supposed to be something else. Everyone wanted it connected to Alien, so then the sequel shoehorned in, oh yes, it was connected to Alien, but it's obvious. It's the same thing as what happened, what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream. Matrix came out, everyone wanted a sequel, it made a ton of money, so they needed a sequel, but there was no idea for a sequel. Right. Ridley Scott did not want to make another Alien movie. No. I feel he said that at some point.
But what happened was Prometheus didn't make money. And then the studio's like,
make money,
you can make another one if you want to, but it's got to be an Alien movie.
And you see, the thing is that this is why I found it funny when I heard Ridley Scott was complaining about millennials in The Last Duel. Because I'm like, Ridley Scott's movies, he doesn't care about making money. This guy is an artistic director. He cares about the art of what he's doing. That doesn't necessarily translate to box office.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like there's directors like that. David Lynch doesn't care about box office, and he's heralded as a legendary director. Okay. Mm-hmm. But then you can't have it both ways. You either have to live with the art and the fact you're probably not making a lot of money, or you got to make it a little bit more accessible. And it showed that Ridley Scott can't do that. And that's fine, but he shouldn't try to. Mm-hmm. Because then we get messes like that.
Yeah. I think that is what happened. I think Prometheus came out, underperformed. I know a lot of people, personal friends of mine, who you guys also know, who didn't like Prometheus and said, well, I thought it was a prequel to Alien. I said, okay, show me in the trailer where it says, before Alien is Prometheus. Like, it doesn't say that. No. It just takes place in that world. It's like, okay, and there's a couple of little things that look like, oh, this is kind of like Alien. It's like being disappointed that Freddy didn't fight Jason at the end of Jason Goes to Hell. It's like, well, we only saw his claw, right? It's like they're both in hell now. That's it. It's like, what do you want? You want to come out and fight right there? Well, that didn't happen. And then if you were disappointed with Freddy versus Jason, then you're disappointed with Freddy versus Jason. What do you want me to do? Like,
I know, but if you're gonna, Alien is so iconic that if you're gonna make a movie about the creatures that you saw a corpse of in the first movie, you're going to have to expect people to want aliens in it too. I know that it doesn't say that. I know no one said that, but that's going to be the expectation. It's like,
right.
So I mean, in that sense, I get it. Like the average man on the street's going to think, oh, if you're making a movie about, the species that guy in the beginning of Alien is from, then there's going to be an alien in it, right? So of course they're going to think that. So it's kind of his fault for not being mindful of that. I don't know if all the alien stuff at the end of Prometheus was tacked on there at the end or something. I don't know if he intended for there to be a proto-alien at the end of Prometheus.
I believe that there was an alien. There was alien stuff. Like, this is my other thing. Yeah. It's like, okay, so people expected there to be connection to Alien. Well, there was.
There was.
We saw the space jockey. We saw the alien.
Yeah.
You know what they wanted? They wanted Rogue One.
Yeah.
They wanted the end of Prometheus to have a space jockey land on that planet, and then a queen bursts out of his chest.
U-shaped thing lands and
right, exactly. And then a queen bursts out of his chest, lays an egg and then dies, and that's the end of Prometheus, and then you can watch Alien right after where they discover that.
Right.
That's what they wanted. They didn't get that. They got something that was maybe a little bit too, like, it's almost like they wanted episode 3 of Star Wars, but they got episode 1, where it's like, well, wait, this is too far back. Like, we wanted something to be a prequel to Alien. It's a prequel to Alien, but it's a further back prequel, because the alien is still not fully the alien you want, or the xenomorph is not the full xenomorph that you want. Right. And some people were disappointed. I'm looking at it, I watch every movie on it. I watch every movie in the two ways, either connected to its franchise and on its own, right? Like, I can like Police Academy 4, whether or not it continues properly from Police Academy 3, right? Mm-hmm. That's just a random one. I just said, I got the Police Academy. No, I have the Police Academy 4. I'm doing a Kobayashi. What's his name? Kaiser Soze. I'm doing a Kaiser Soze Police Academy 4 posters over there. So I'm looking around the room and coming up with stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, that's why they were pissed off at that. But like, in terms of like Alien versus and Aliens, yeah, they're both good. I think it just almost depends on what you saw first and what mindset you're in when you watch them. Yeah. Right. Because, a lot of people are like it's very obvious. Like, to me, it's very obvious it's Alien, but to other people, it's very obvious that it's Aliens. And it's like, look, it's a crowd pleaser. Everyone likes it. It's fun. It just depends on how serious you want. Like, I would prefer a serious, dark sci-fi horror versus a action sci-fi movie. That doesn't mean I'm saying, Terminator. Like, I like Terminator. Well, we could do Terminator versus Terminator 2. We can do that. Like, I like Terminator 1 because it's darker, it's more, it's grittier, and it just seems, I don't know, it just seems like cooler to me. But Terminator 2 is so good. That Terminator 1 and 2 would be maybe we'll do that one. That'll be really hard. Because I love them both for different reasons. This one's a little easier because for me, Alien for sure wins. But Terminator 1 versus Terminator 2, that's like a Herculean task to try to pick out of those. But maybe we'll throw that on there. So, Steve, what else you got? Anything else you want to talk about with Alien and Aliens?
Yeah, Aliens to me is just a more enjoyable film on a visceral level. Hey, thanks, Double C.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yep. Someone found why the person in the cave for away from him had a bell up them.
Yeah, so I think people wanted it to end more like they wanted it to be like Rogue One.
Yeah.
Where like literally you can watch Prometheus and then you stop watching Prometheus at the credits and then you put Alien in and it just goes right into it. Like how Alien 3, like Alien 2 and Alien 3 continue right from them, right? Like Alien 3 continues right from Alien Part 2. But you've killed Newton and Hicks. So
off screen.
And Bishop, you reactivate Bishop for a couple of sequences. It's like, that's really not enough. But anyway, sorry, continue, Steve.
Yeah, no worries. It's more fun viscerally. The scene where they go in and they're seeing everything through the Marines, vision is really cool. Because again, you know what's happening, but you don't know what's happening. Aliens does have my favorite singular scene from any of the Alien movies, which is the motion detector where it's like 50 yards, 40 yards. It's like they're in the room. It's like, where are they? Yeah. Hicks goes up, he looks, and they're crawling around the freaking ceiling. And he's falling down and he's immediately firing into the ceiling. And you got to think, like, everyone else is sitting there like, what the hell's going on? What's he see up there? Like,
that's a great scene. That is a great scene.
It's so, and it's like you see it, they're surrounded, and it's like they're not in the room. Like, where the fuck? Like, oh shit, they're up top. Yeah. I love that scene. It's just such a fun ride with Aliens. Alien is a very serious film. It's a film you probably show in a film class, how to construct a film, how to design a film, how to build a film. It's a masterpiece. It's a classic for good reasons. But if I want to throw in something and have a good time, I'm going to choose Aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's fair, right? Like, when we didn't do Batman versus Batman Returns, but we did Batman versus Batman Begins. And again, you could have there's some technical points of Batman Begins that make it really good, but for me, Batman is the one I'm going to throw in.
Yeah.
For Aliens, it is tough though, because I do like Aliens a lot. I think just Alien to me because it's more of a visual experience as well. And I like the slow kind of moving around and seeing. I like when I feel like I'm living in the movie a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like if we're gonna do like let's say if we take like Army of Darkness, which is like super fast. It's like a 90-minute movie. It's fast and it's just adventure. I like that where I'm like, okay, I'm constantly on this adventure, or it's got to be I'm living there, like 2001: A Space Odyssey, where everyone's like, "This is boring as piss." I'm like, no, I'm really there with these guys on this thing, and Hal's going crazy, and he's gonna try to kill us all, and it's like, well, we got to go repair that unit or whatever. I like that stuff, right? It's so weird. It's got to be slow and real, or fast paced. It's got to be like that District B13, that parkour movie.
Yeah,
it's got to be like that. It's like, or I want like friggin' 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's like Lawrence of Arabia. If you're not going to be Lawrence of Arabia, then you can be Army of Darkness, but don't try to be something in between.
Yeah, don't try to be both.
I feel that sometimes movies are like that, where they're trying to be something that they're not, but also it's like they're trying to make it seem like this is like a highbrow entertainment, but like you're just kind of not really getting there. Some of the Nolan movies, he's a little bit of a guy like that, where he's pretending they're like these really highbrow. It's like I'm thinking really deep. There's a lot of depth in this movie. It's like, is there really? It's like it's kind of just an action movie.
Yeah,
it should be a lot shorter. Like if Tenet was 90 minutes, I love Tenet. I know you guys didn't like it. If Tenet was 90 minutes and you could hear it at home, and if Inception was 90 minutes. And like what's the other, like even Dark Knight, like if these movies were 90 minutes, this Nolan would be like one of the greatest filmmakers. It's like Dark Knight is way too long, but the good parts of Dark Knight are damn good. Tenet is long, but the cool parts and the idea of Tenet is sick. It's like Inception, too long, a lot of exposition of crap that we don't need to know about, but it's an awesome concept. He's got cool ideas. And it's just dragged out. It's not even like Hitchcock where there's some suspense going on and it feels a little slow. This is just like, it's slow. It's like, yeah, but I know what's going to happen. I get it. They're going in the guy's mind. Okay, we'll just go in his mind then. Remember the movie The Cell? Remember The Cell?
Yeah, The Cell.
Where J-Lo and Vincent D'Onofrio is the killer. And it's like in 20 minutes, she's in his mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, get into his mind and let's get this going. Like, we don't,
Yeah,
like,
I think
no one would have taken 40 minutes to get there, right?
Yeah, I think his stories tend to get a little bit draggy, just because, to your point, I think he thinks he's a more serious filmmaker, and he's like, oh, I'm making, high art or whatever. He's like, there's certain filmmakers who think they're changing the landscape of film, and some of them actually do change the landscape of film. I would say Ridley Scott, especially early on in his career, was changing the landscape of film. Blade Runner was a technical masterpiece, so was Alien.
Oh, just those two alone.
Yeah, just those two alone. Like he could have stopped after that, and his legacy is sealed forever. Yep. But I feel like there's a certain way of like you either have to be Spielberg, or you have to be Hitchcock, or you have to be Tarantino. Like you have to have a niche. What are you bringing to us? Spielberg was the wonder-filled, fan-friendly films until he thought he got serious with Schindler's List, and then he just made a bunch of boring movies. With good ones here and there, but mostly boring. Hitchcock was the thrill master. He was the guy who scared people. Stuff like that. Like Tarantino is the filmophile. He's the guy who goes into shit you never heard of and brings it to the forefront. Ridley Scott was a technical genius. James Cameron was a crowd pleaser. And then these guys win Oscars and all of a sudden they think they're like serious filmmakers. They lose their way. But like getting back to Aliens, it's cool. Alien is always going to be the better made picture. Just flat out better made picture. If you're going to talk in movie terms, Alien's the better made movie. but Aliens is fun.
Yeah, I think James Cameron was one of those guys where there's some cool ideas and there's a little bit of intelligence to it, but there's also some heart in it, and it's a crowd pleaser action. It's like Terminator 2 might be one of the most perfectly made movies for anybody. It's like it's not too violent to turn off regular people, but it's got enough violence to keep the violent guys like we're like, yeah, that was good. Cool idea. It's got some time travel stuff, but not too crazy where you're scratching your head like, does this make sense? Like, wait, how does this work? Nothing too crazy. It's just like one of these perfect movies where you're like, yeah, this is just perfect for everybody. Anybody can watch Terminator 2 and get something out of it. Even if you're like, oh, I don't like sci-fi or I don't like action movies. It's like, well, give Terminator 2 a chance,
Yeah. Well, Cameron made a lot of crowd-pleasing movies. He had a long hot streak. I mean, The Abyss was a tiny bit of a miss.
Yeah, I still like Abyss,
but I still like it too.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Yeah, like just to get snotty for a second. In film class, we learned about mise en scene and all that, and Ridley Scott took that class because he knew about what to put in the sets, how to build the sets, how to light the sets, how to film everything. Like, he is a filmmaker. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, guy was a master, especially back in the early days. It's like it's unbelievable, like the movies he came out with.
All right, Sean, you want to final thoughts on the Aliens, both films? Oh, is he frozen?
He might be frozen.
He might be frozen. Okay.
Well,
he'll come back in a second.
He's looking very pensive there.
Yeah, he'll be back in a second. He's pondering which.
Yeah, he's pondering. He's got that wide-eyed look.
We're gonna try to. Oh,
I'm back.
You're back.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah,
we can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh,
there you are.
Okay.
I can't see me now.
Oh, we can hear you though. So you can go ahead.
Alien versus Aliens. I would say that Alien is the. Years ago, I would have said Aliens was the more enjoyable movie. But I pop in Alien every time I want to watch an Alien thing nowadays. I don't know what broke in me. I guess I got older. The thing is, it looks beautiful. I think I didn't appreciate that when I was younger. And just the way it's made is beautiful too. And I like all the characters in it. I like the way the alien sneaks around and stuff. It's like a pesky rat, Aliens is a good action thing, and it looks cool and all, but I mean, it's something that I lived and breathed as like a 10-year-old, but I do love it still, and I watch it from time to time, but like nowadays I do pop in Alien when I want to watch an Alien thing. So yeah.
Alien to me, I mean, I've got a shelf dedicated to just Alien Part 1. I have all the Alien movies, of course, but like I have a shelf of just like the reaction figures, and I got Ripley, and I got a couple of. I bought 2 of the Funkos, which Sean hates, but it's Ripley in her suit. I've got the NECA. I bought the NECA figure of the alien, which broke instantaneously as soon as I took it out of the packaging, and then I bought Ripley, and I was so careful. It's NECA, yeah. No, this is before I knew NECA breaks. People still defend it. Oh god. Anyways, so yeah, you just got to be careful. And yeah, I've got the Nostromo shirt. I've got the Alien Isolation video game, which I'm dying to play. I just need time to play it. I just like the world that it's set up. I like the colors in it. It just looks amazing to me. The soundtrack's great. I like the poster. It's very simple. The egg breaking. The egg doesn't even break that way, which is weird. No. It's like it's wrong. The poster's wrong. It's got the egg cracking. It's like that's not
how it's not an actual egg. It like opens at the top, like it.
Yeah, it's like.
But like I recall when Alien Isolation came out, they had reaction videos on IGN about like people just playing it, and I loved watching it because video games are so immersive now. Like they are interactive fiction. They're not. I don't consider them video games anymore, but it is what it is. That's how it's become. But like, it looks terrifying. There was that game, J-Man, you brought over to my place.
Yes.
It was like Edge of Sanity or something.
What was that called?
Yeah, it was like something where you're progressively going crazy and things are going weird.
Oh, that
That
GameCube
was
game or whatever the hell it
Yeah,
was.
GameCube game.
it was
Yeah,
GameCube.
yeah. I was thinking about that
And,
the other day. Yeah.
and it was scary.
It was scary. I
It was
know.
like
Now,
super scary. I'm like, what's going on? Why is this video game so scary?
yeah, and that was like in the shittier graphics. Now the
Yeah.
graphics are better. I can play Alien Isolation on a friggin' 4K 65-inch TV with surround sound that I'm like 2 feet away from. It's like I'm too scared to play it. I'm gonna drop the controller. It's like, oh shit! I just, those controllers are like $75, right? It's like, I gotta drop the controller. I gotta play it like sitting on the couch with like a pillow underneath in case I drop the controller. Well, I've seen guys play it. They're like, shit, right? Like,
it looks terrifying. It's almost like, and I know Sean hates this game, and I understand why he hates this game. I'm not a fan either, but it's interesting to watch people play the game. Is Five Nights at Freddy's? Like,
so stupid.
Yeah, like I know you hate Sean, like, and I played the game, and I'm like, but like watching people play it, it's super entertaining because they get right into it and they're freaking out. It's super funny.
Kids are scared by anything nowadays. Oh my god! You just play a little piano music, like, oh my god, oh,
yeah, I never get scared. I was kind of joking with the Alien game. I won't jump. I won't drop no control. I like never even reacted. It's like people was like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that was all right. You got me, I guess. It's like, that's like my reaction to jump scares now. It's like, yeah, that was kind of good. You got me a little bit. It's like, that's my literal reaction. I need to get into the story. Like, I like the Chucky TV series. I don't know if there's jump scares in that. There may have been. Nothing affected me, but there's like, I like the story and the characters, and I like Chucky. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm watching a lot of these horror movies.
No, I don't. I didn't find scary. Like, if you want to talk about a movie, I found generally, I wouldn't say scary, but unsettling was It Follows.
Yeah, that was good.
Was one where you're like, what the hell? And like, you get like paranoid, like you see someone in the background, you're like, oh my god, is that it? Like,
yeah,
it's just it's one of those movies where people say scary, I say unsettling a lot.
Right. Yeah, that's a good gateway horror movie. It Follows, right? Because it's not too brutal. Like it's just creepy enough to get you in. I know this was the first time I watched it. You were wondering how the other was going.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with this. Yeah,
I super agree with you on that. That's one of the big factors for me. I hate jump scares. Yeah, I mean, I look. They come with the territory. I don't like jump scares that don't lead to anything. That's going to be a separate stream. Why do these jump scares? Why are there lame jump scares? Yeah. There's always one lame one, and we always said John Carpenter. There's always that cheap John Carpenter one where somebody like, oh shit, like someone would walk by the screen or something.
Well, Halloween, the kid ran into Michael Myers.
Yeah, right, something like that.
I think Species should be called like Jump Scare the Movie because and none of them are effective. There's like cheap pops all the way through, man.
Yeah. You don't do anything, but even if we took the kid running into Michael Myers, that still is Michael Myers interacting with someone, and he could have killed that kid very easily if he wanted to. But there's jump scares where it's nothing. Like someone's like, it's like, it's like, hey Jimmy, it's like,
yeah,
it's like, why would
you just boost up the audio a bit,
Yeah,
like,
when have I ever done that to you guys? Like we're meeting to go to the theater, and I see Sean, and I go up and grab his shoulders, like Sean. It's like, who does that? Like I just think, like, hey. I think
in Species, a squirrel jumps out at Ben Kingsley and goes, and I'm like, it's so stupid. Yeah,
they don't make that noise. Like, what is happening here? It's just like, that's really cheap.
It has to be like, if you're going to do movies with jump scares, at least give me something interesting. Like Winchester, which I saw not long ago. It's got the ghosts and blah, like, oh, there's a shadow. Whatever. But
that's the Helen Mirren one, right?
That's the Helen Mirren one. But the house itself is so frigging interesting because that's the weird house that stairs lead to nowhere. Blah blah blah. Yeah. just going around that house is super interesting.
Mm.
First
Cat
industry
people.
recognized jump scare is in cat people.
Cat people have 42,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
best
So
one is probably Exorcist 3, no?
yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh,
Yeah, but I think
yeah.
it's now widely known as like one of the best jump scares of all time. And it's not
Which
like that
was-
movie's chock a block of them. There's just a lot of weird stuff happening. Up to
There's a
that point.
couple, yeah, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
But that one is a good one. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Steve. Like, okay, so there's some cheesiness, but the house looks cool. It's like a
Yeah.
mansion or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of neat. So you can spend time. Even that other one, The Haunting, the house looked cool, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that looks cool. There's a lot of neat stuff. So you're getting other things in it that kind of make up for, whatever some of the lamer parts. Like I like the others. That was like a legit spooky horror movie. Maybe we should do some.
premise, yeah.
Yeah,
that was the first movie where I almost kneed myself in the head because I don't know, like J-Man, you and I saw it in the theater, and I don't know if you jacked the sound, but when they got that jump, like I literally almost kneed myself in the head at that one.
When the old lady opens the door.
Yeah, literally.
Did I see that with you guys or no?
No,
I saw it 3 times in the theater, man. I got the movie poster for it. I loved it.
The theater erupted, but I think the only reason why is because the kid drew like a super crazy picture of her in the beginning.
Yeah.
So when she opens it and then they cut away, it's like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so that wasn't a lame jump scare though, because that was set up. We know there's a creepy old woman.
Yeah.
We know there's a creepy old woman running around with this, fright.
The hair, yeah.
The fright
so so you're waiting to see that. So then when you see, like, oh shit, see, that's a story element, not John. How you doing? Whoa, oh, and like, dang. It's like, really, guy, like, come on. If you're gonna do a jump scare, there needs to be a kill or it needs to be a story. Like, I get it. If you turn Jason's there and he slices your throat, okay, that's a legit jump scare, guys. Like she got scared and Jason nailed her right there. Not this crap like a cat jumping. There's those cheap ones. I'll give you one cheap one a movie if you're a horror movie. That's it. You got and I keep my notepad. It's like okay, oh fuck, okay, that's your one. That's it, buddy. You played that. Wow, it's been half an hour. You played that card. Okay, don't. And then it's like, oh, another one. I'm like, I'm done. That was The Grudge. I think I was like done.
But The Grudge was incomprehensible. Like I had no idea what was going on. I'm watching. I'm like, okay.
The trailers show 2 or 3 cheap ones. I'm like, guys, you get one. I don't like. Somebody tell the director, like, guys, one. You get one per movie.
Yeah, it's like, pretty bad.
The trailer had 2 or 3. I'm like, I'm done already. Like, I could just see that it was like going to be irritating. So, all right, I think we'll end off there. We're going to do. We got to still talk about Hawkeye because I've seen that, and maybe we'll do like a catch-up video after Christmas on an off day, just play catch-up with like Matrix and Hawkeye. And what else was out? Did you guys see the Punisher's new logo? What a barf fest that is.
It was in the comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is there a story reason for it, or?
I don't know.
No.
We don't read the comics anymore.
No,
so
I think this comes from politics again. I believe what happened is that one of the guys who did the January 6th Capitol was part of that whole Jan 6 Capitol thing. Was
he happened to wear a Punisher shirt.
Sure.
And they're like, you can't ever have that logo
That's
again.
Bullshit. Just because that one guy, it's like the flag and everything. It's like, oh, flag's racist because these racist guys had it. Well, no, many other people have fought for this flag. So you can't just like it's like if you're saying that, then they win, So
I agree.
If you're saying that like this guy wore a Punisher shirt and attacked the Capitol, therefore let's never use. Then that guy wins. They all win for basically dominating the conversation.
Yeah, and what about the hundreds of thousands of people that wear Punisher shirts all the time, including me? And Sean and Steve, you and Steve has a Punisher hat, right? It's like what about us who do nothing wrong? Yeah. And we're good
with a dude like trying to get chips at a variety store up here, and I had my Punisher shirt. And the guy goes, hey, nice shirt, man. I'm like, oh, thanks. He goes, back it up. And he showed his belt buckle, which was a Punisher belt buckle.
The belt buckle
and
also.
And the woman who was keeping a shop there, she's like, "Oh my god, what is this?" And I'm like, "It's just a comic book character." She's like a Chinese woman. She didn't know about Punisher and stuff, right? So
so hundreds of thousands of people wear that logo and are good, upstanding citizens who pay their taxes and all that other stuff. And then one guy does like a goof thing, and then that's it. It's like, okay, well, Disney's a bunch of losers, and they're a bunch of wimps. It's like,
yeah,
why even
stand up to it? This is our character, done. Yeah. But Harvey Comics has done more defending of hot stuff than Marvel has done for Punisher. You always have to defend the fact that they have a demon child as a kid's character. And they defended that. I mean, they've wanted to make a movie and everything with that guy for decades. Marvel, like, this one thing happens, Marvel folds in 1 second for Punisher. Yeah.
So maybe it's a comic thing. I don't know. I keep hearing. I heard it was like some political thing. Whatever. I don't read Punisher comics because I only read X-Men comics from Marvel. And
well,
I don't read
that's why I told the person who sent that, because you know who sent that to me.
Oh, yes.
You know exactly who sent it to me.
Yes,
and I respond back. I'm saying, if I read Marvel comics, I would probably care, but I don't, so I don't.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do read the X-Men books, but I'm going to read the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. I'll try to catch up on Amazing. I was reading it up until like issue 30 or something, and now they're on 80. So I'm a little bit behind. But I was collecting it and reading it up until a certain point, and then I just fell behind on it because I was just like, But it was an interesting storyline where I fell behind on, where Craven was capturing all the Spider-Man villains that were animal-related, and he was hunting them down. So he was hunting Scorpion, Rhino, like whatever, any of the animal guys, Tarantula, like those guys. He was hunting all those guys down, which is kind of cool. I like that idea. He's hunting the animal characters. But okay, we're going to end off there. So we'll do a catch-up video next week sometime after Christmas, and we're going to do, next Wednesday, we're going to do Superman 1 versus Superman 2. So I think that's going to be good. Yeah, Trust was...
Oh, yeah, I know. I just read it. It is a story thing, so we'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah. Well,
he's like a demonic dude now, so like his thing is more demonic. So,
or just keep it the same. But anyway, but it also looks lame. Like too, it doesn't look very good. That's the other thing. It looks like a weird.
It looks lame. It looks way overproduced. It's not going to be iconic. There's too much going on with it.
There's too much going on. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's messy and painted on, right? So
no, it's like there's horns here and there's things here and
yeah, I don't like it.
It's too much.
All right, guys. So for sure, we will be back next Wednesday doing Superman 1 versus Superman 2, which is going to be interesting. But all right, guys, that's it. Take care.
Hey, friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.